Hello and welcome back to Everything Tumbler Tutorials. My name is Rebecca Escott and today we're going to do a very fun floral print with glitter design. This is very easy to do, and as you can see we're just going to jump right in, and I've already cut this down, and I wanted majority of the tumbler wrapped in this beautiful floral print from AB Designs. So I just pulled back about an inch of the paper backing, and I'm going to go over the rim like by a fraction of a hair, if you will, and then we'll trim that off in the next section. So once you have this completely wrapped up, and make sure that you've popped any air pockets if you have any, because I did wrap this kind of quick. The faster you wrap, the more likely you are to have air pockets. So for trimming off this excess here at the rim, make sure you have a very sharp X-Acto knife. It makes this job 10 times easier. I wanted to make sure that this vinyl was all the way to the rim, so I did not want to use the Wicked Shimmer tool. So once you have that completely trimmed up, go ahead and rub down those edges really well. Next up, this is what we're going to do to find that line. I usually just tape off if need be, just to make sure everything is nice and squared up on the tumbler. A lot of people stress a lot, especially newbies, on how to get vinyl to wrap around a cup. My theory is it's not how you start, it's how you finish. So if you do have uneven vinyl, such as I do, just take a piece of tape, wrap it around the vinyl here at the bottom, and then we're going to take the X-Acto knife and trim all of that excess off. Once you have all of that excess vinyl removed, we're going to go ahead and leave that painter's tape there at the bottom, and we're just going to tape right off and protect the printable vinyl, because once again, I love my glitter wet spray paint method, and that's why we're going to protect the printable vinyl and take this out and give it a spray paint. I am going to use Candy Pink. That's the perfect match for my exclusive glitter with AB Designs called Elegant. So once you've sprayed your tumbler, you are now ready to go in and immediately glitter. If you're satisfied with your first glitter coverage, you can go ahead and remove your protective paper that's covering up your printable vinyl. So you're going to want this to completely dry for about 30 to 40 minutes, and then we're going to take it back out and we're going to spray it with the clear seal 2 times from Rustoleum. You really want to seal in that glitter before you go into epoxy, and that way it won't spread throughout the tumbler. So once you get ready to remove your painter's tape, you're going to see that we have a nice, clean, flawless straight line all the way around this tumbler. For our first coat of epoxy, I am going to be using Fast Set from Counterculture DIY. As you'll notice, I'm going to stay right around the glitter section first, and then I'll work my way to the top. Make sure you use your heat torch to pop any bubbles that you may or may not be able to see. So I've waited about 4 hours before moving on to this step. As you can see, I put a 2-inch decal that matches the exact same printable vinyl down at the bottom just to dress it up a little bit. So I always like to find my seam, and then I'll place it seam down so that I make sure that I get this lined up so my decal is straight in the center on the front of the tumbler. So on this tumbler, I am using the Summer decal from AB Designs. On the second tumbler that you've seen in the thumbnail as well as at the end of the video was a BAMF Custom Creations decal. Both of these decals are called clear cast decals. Very easy to work with, and the best part about them is you just peel them and stick them. You do not have to seal these whatsoever. You do want to make sure that when you apply the clear cast decals onto a tumbler, that it is a fresh epoxy tumbler and not sanded. When placing of any decals, you want to make sure that you start from the center and work your way out. This will help prevent air pockets and any wrinkles. So with clear cast decals, we don't have to worry about a dry time. So we can go right in to placing our vinyl stripes. So we're going to go ahead and flip this tumbler over, and we're going to start where I already have a seam, as we want all the seams to pretty much line up accordingly on the back. You can use any vinyl stripe color that you want. The size that I went with for this was a 10.5 in width by 0.125 in height. I will also have those sizes down for you below. As you will notice that I take the first stripe and I go right over the line that I initially created from the glitter and the printable vinyl. As for this second stripe, I just really honestly eyeballed it as close as I could so that I would have just a little bit of a gap in between the first and the second stripe. So for this second coat of epoxy, I am using Fast Set from Counterculture DIY. For my third and final coat of these tumblers, I did use Counterculture DIY's Artist Resin, medium viscosity, as it's not really recommended to use the Fast Set for your final coats of epoxy. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in on this tutorial. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, please hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more tutorials coming soon. Also, for continued learning, find us on Facebook at Everything Tumbler Tutorials. Don't forget to use your heat torch to pop any bubbles that you may or may not be able to see.